summon Sator, he will turn his attention to you. Submit yourself, for he is a consuming fire.
Sator is the impressive passion project debut from Jordan Graham, who essentially developed this entire movie by himself, filling every production role over the span of 7 years. It tells a story of a broken family living in the woods, haunted throughout the generations by Sator, some kind of supernatural antlered woodland god, demon, I don't know. Like I said, one guy, 7 years. If I can say absolutely nothing else about this movie, I can say that that is incredibly impressive. And Jordan Graham deserves massive props for getting his movie out there like this. And that's not all I can say about Sator, so even better. This is truthfully one of the hardest films I've had to talk about on this channel in a while. It's legitimately one of a kind in that it's based on Jordan Graham's personal experiences, and it utilizes actual home video footage to craft an entire painting of who this family was before they were changed by whatever Sator is. And Sator, for the record, is an idea that came from Graham's past as well. His grandmother was a medium, and she would spirit write, and apparently Sator was a name that came up very often. And upon revisiting his past leading up to this film, he discovered that it went way deeper than automatic writing, and as it turns out, all of the sketches and notes that you see in the film are his grandmother's real sketches and notes from back in 1968, and the video footage you're seeing of her talking about Sator, that's real too. Graham just took a camera and prompted his grandma to talk about this thing, and she did. So that's creepy as hell, but it's also really cool that Graham was able to take this kind of horrifying thing and craft it into a wholly unique, original art house horror film. Where this movie succeeds ultimately is in creating an atmosphere. This is a bleak, cold, quiet film that's extremely light on dialogue and incredibly dreamlike in structure, choosing vibes over story in a way that's similar to films like Lovely Molly or They Look Like People. It's been a long time since I've been able to say a movie gave me goosebumps throughout its entire runtime. And that's no easy feat, and that's mostly due to the film's restraint and its minimalist nature. Because there was only one person operating the camera for a lot of these scenes, the movie utilizes a lot of long, unbroken, static shots. Slow, creeping camera movements that just ratchet up the dread, to a point where it's kind of unbearable. It almost creates this bizarre sense of voyeurism, like you're watching through Sator's eyes and he's everywhere. Another big part of the tension comes from the excellent sound design in this film. You can tell that he spent over a year working on the sound, because you can hear every footstep, every leaf crunch, every rustle of a branch outside, and you're so on edge that little sounds are making you jump. There aren't really any jump scares here, the movie doesn't need them. It's perfectly content showing you creepy imagery in the most deliberately slow way possible. Minimal noise, minimal dialogue, emphasis on quiet, creepy, unnerving sounds that set your hair on end, and a palpable silence that leaves you in a deep state of dread because you're expecting at any second for it to break, and it just doesn't. The biggest problem I had with this movie comes from its story. That's to say, it's extremely thin to the point where I don't really know how to describe this movie outside of A Family Falls Apart. I can't comprehend any of its themes. There are some really vague musings on like dementia and the supernatural, but that's never touched on in any meaningful way, and it's frustrating because I think that if it had delved into that a little more, this movie would have been great. Still, that being said, I don't think any of these things are particularly bad in this case. Sator is clearly a passion project for Jordan Graham, and one that feels deeply personal to him and his family. For that reason alone, it's worth watching and supporting. But on top of that, it's really well-made art horror. While it may not mean something in the grand scheme of things, it means something to the creator. And that is really important. And if nothing else, it delivers on a lot of genuinely chilling, surreal moments that will undoubtedly stick with you even if the movie itself doesn't resonate with you. I'm gonna say that Sator is good for fans of art house horror. It's a bleak, chilling movie that's a bit lackluster in the story department, but it makes up for it in genuine style and creepiness, and some really unflinchingly brutal acts of violence in its third act. I may not do it anytime soon, but I definitely want to rewatch this at some point to try and understand a little more what Graham is getting at, and I would honestly suggest you check this one out. It's very cool, and if nothing else, it is super unique. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, click down there, like, comment, subscribe. There's a Patreon link down in the description if you want to donate, help us grow, make new, better quality content for you all to enjoy. You can be like any of these cool people right here. I would really appreciate it. You can get access to cool new rewards, anything from access to my private Discord server where we have monthly movie watches to gifts sent right to your door. If any of that interests you, please consider donating. I would really appreciate it, but even if you don't, thank you so much for watching anyway, and I will see you all very soon.